Hi, girlies. Welcome to Pretty Serious Conversations. It is another episode, and I thank you so much for watching the first one. Obviously, in this episode, we are going to be talking about passive femininity because this is your platform where we discuss all things femininity. I'm just going to contextualize it for you, bringing in the third world or emerging market lens into the whole femininity field. Today, I have a guest. Her name is Cebile Khumalo. But before we get to her, I'm your host, Bongiwe Dlamini, and I'm also known as Grace Girly. If you check out all my social, what do you call them?
Handles,
yes. If you check out all my social handles. I'm still getting to this content creation thing, guys. But anyways, Cebile, welcome to the show. It's lovely to have you. I've known you for some time, ne?
Yeah.
And we met at the MBA cohort at Wits, and it was incredible. And I saw you, and I was like, I have to know this lady. I couldn't approach you then, but life brought us together.
Yeah.
And we'll get there. We'll get to that point of how life brought us together. Please give us a little bit of a bio. Who's Cebile, and may the guests, if they meet you, who do you introduce yourself as?
So, Cebile Khumalo, of course, is my name. I am a born-again child of God, fundamentally, but I'm a mom of three amazing humans. Mm-hmm. I'm a wife. I'm a corporate girly. I work for a global organization doing management consulting. Obviously, we met through school, doing my master's, and yeah, I think I'm also a wife, hey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm a wife, I'm a sister.
Yes.
I think, I'm just at that point in life or in the season where I'm grateful for all of the things that I just mentioned now. Yeah. Quite grateful to God. And that's who I am.
Thank you. That's a great intro. And it's an intro that speaks about everything that we talk about on this particular platform, where we mention, for instance, the different phases of a woman, from the time you are a girl, you evolve into a woman, where you are busy with your studies and you're developing your mind, and then you move into being a wife, and then you move into being a mother.
Yeah.
Sometimes those roles interchange, one comes before the other or the other. But that's somewhat the life cycle of a woman, right? I believe that being a mother is usually not about being a mother only to your children, but being a mother to any child that is out there. So essentially a mother of the nation. And with that being said, I know there's plenty of platforms that discuss being a mother and discuss being a wife. And I remember when I called you, I was like, this is not the way.
Intentional parenting.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, we're not going to be talking about that, girl. I want us to maybe focus more on the girlhood and the womanhood, right? Because we don't have enough content out there that's teaching young girls or presenting role models that are healthy to young girls.
Yeah.
Role models that are in corporate, that are in management consult. I mean, ask a young girl what management consulting is. They probably say, I don't know, Yeah. But at the same time, you look like a woman, you don't look like a man. Because the myth is that when you're in corporate and you're in these jobs, like an executive here or whatnot, there's a certain way you need to look like. Maybe you need to have short hair. You can't have your nails done because you're working so hard and the industry is so masculine and, you're needing to push deadlines, you're traveling. You find time to still keep your girlhood intact. Yeah. Even with the traveling, you still do your hair. Like right now, you do your makeup, like you do your nails. You're a mother and a wife, and that's a full plate. Right? So I just want you to give me maybe why. Why is it important for you to make sure that you look after yourself, especially when you have daughters as young as yours? Is it something you're trying to model in front of them to say, this is what a woman does, or are you doing it subconsciously because you saw your mom doing it? Maybe give us a little bit of a history behind Ucebile and how did Ucebile become the woman she is today sitting here?
So, I grew up in a big family. I'm the seventh of the eighth kids. So as I was growing up, I had so many role models. I had big sisters. I had my mom. I had my dad. And obviously as you grow, you sort of model the environment that you grew up in. I then, of course, evolved to becoming a mom myself and a wife. I think one of the things that I can just talk about briefly is what really built my character as I was growing up. I grew up having, that character of resilience, of showing up, hardworking, because the situations that were presented to me as I was growing up taught me that. So that is why even today, I try by all means that at work I show up 100%. I don't show up as a mom with 3 kids that lacks something, I show up as a person who does not have kids, which is pressurized, which I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to show up 100%. And I try by all means that as a mom, I'm intentional. I've got 2 daughters that I need to be a role model for, 2, and a son, and for me, that gives me a lot of responsibility, I don't want to lie. It's very difficult to balance everything, to still be soft, to still be a wife, to still be, and still do your hair, still travel, still do this. It becomes a lot. But, when I introduced myself, I spoke to you about the season that I'm in, of being still, of really just trying to rest, trying to take care of myself. When I do these things, when I look good, I am doing it for me.
Yes.
I'm really not doing it to show my kids. In fact, my oldest daughter is not as glamorous as me. She's just chilled, Okay. And I grew up also chilled. I wasn't this glamour. I do it for me to feel good about myself, to show up. I feel I show up better when I have to present, when I have to engage customers. If I look good, it's like that lady in the room. That is for me. And that is what works for me. So
yeah. I like that. I like that you're saying it's for you, because first and foremost, whenever you do something for yourself, it then exudes a different type of energy.
Yeah.
It's more of a fulfilled energy rather than a needy energy.
I'm not doing it for hubby, for an example.
You get me. And I love that, because every time I speak about femininity, I talk about that.
Yeah.
And when I coach people, for instance, I tell them, I'm not going to give you tips on how to keep a man, because that's
you don't know, right?
Yeah, that's what social media is interpreting femininity to be. To say, to keep a man, you must make sure your makeup is done. To keep a man, you must make sure your hair is done. You must always look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You must always smell good. All of that.
And I don't know why it has to be a man attached to that.
Yes.
Yes. And I think that is something that we as women fail in. We do things to try and impress the next person. Yes. Your man.
Yes.
You're working out. I work out a lot. Working out. You're working out to look good for who? I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah.
I find that I feel good if I woke up at 5 o'clock and I went for a run. I'm going to show up better at work. I'm going to show up better for myself. I feel good. Yeah. So I think that's the mistake perhaps that we do, to say that I want to look good so that I can keep a man. I want to look good so that I can portray myself in the society as this thing, this person who. I think that's a mistake that we do.
It is a mistake, and unfortunately, it's a mistake that's being oversaturated. It's going into, all the socials that you can name. All social media is talking about that. If you were to go onto a platform right now, the first video would be how to look classy so that you can coin a high value man or something along those lines, you know?
I once saw a TikTok on how to attract high valued men, and you need to go to a certain gym. You need to, and I was just, you need to go to Woolies at a certain time.
Oh yes,
yeah, and I was just like, oh wow,
yes,
wow.
It's a full-time job, right? It's a full-time job, and when you say to young girls, that is not sustainable. You wanting to chase these types of men, for instance, is not sustainable. I think that we are in an era right now where that information is all over, and we're needing now new data to come into the hemisphere. So when you're saying to me, do it for yourself, I love that. Because if you buy flowers, don't buy flowers because you're wanting to feel more feminine. That's not the reason for that. Buy flowers because you're trying to express the beauty that is inside of you, and you just want to see it being expressed externally. You know what I mean? When you do your nails, don't do your nails because, you want to show them. You want to show the new designs that you have in your, do your nails because they're expressing the light that is in you, that brightness that is in you. And when people say, for instance, feminine women wear bright colors, they wear pastel colors. I'm like, guys, you are giving these people tactics to catch men but it's not fulfilling them. It's not wholesome information that a woman can take and say, and stay at home and say, you know what, this information brings me life. When I know this, I feel so fulfilled. And I just love how you've expressed it, that you're doing it for yourself. And it starts with you, right? Moving from that point where we are talking about it starts from you, you spoke about something that sometimes you cannot be soft because you are required to do a lot. You're required to look after the kids. You're required to prepare a presentation for work at 10 p.m. and get it ready so that tomorrow, you know what I mean? It can be signed off, or, you're going to present in Cape Town and tomorrow you need to be at Tambo, in the AMs in the morning. And at that time, you can't be soft. And I think the soft comes with being passive as well. Okay, it's fine. I'm just going to sit here. And you can't, because there's things that you need to do. Now, the content that I've seen externally from the American market, from the UK market, the first world countries more so, is content that tells young girls exactly that. You need to be soft. Just don't do much, even like the simplest thing. If you go on a date, don't talk too much, just sit there and look pretty, And so that's the information that women and young girls are carrying around, thinking that if they're passive, things will move in their life. Whereas we live in an economy that needs you to be active because of the financial instability as well as security issues, right? I want us to go into that.
Okay.
Yeah, because your daughters are growing up in that environment. If your daughter were to come to you, for instance, and say, Mom, I don't want to work.
I want to marry a rich husband.
I want to marry a rich husband who will look after me.
I'll say, go find one and get me one too.
And you are misbehaving because I know your husband is doing a very good job. Okay, you are misbehaving, and he'll take care of all of us, including your sister and your brother and everyone. But if your daughter were to come to you and say, I don't believe in this whole thing of working, like I've seen you work too much and I just don't want to be like you when I grow up. I just think, and by the way, there's plenty of girls out there, especially in the townships. I mean, you grew up in KZN, who are like
in the rural,
who are just sitting pretty and saying they're waiting for someone to come and rescue them. How would you navigate that? Based on your experience as well. Like, if you had a sister, a cousin who's going through that and you are advising them on how to navigate that. Obviously, we don't judge, this platform, we're not judging anyone, but we understand that everything has nuances. We cannot give all the nuances that exist, But if your daughter were to say that, from your perspective, how would you navigate that conversation?
You know, it's a difficult one because you have to find a balance between saying someone is passive and really understanding where that person is coming from. Because remember, initially I spoke about the model, what you see as you grow up, and the environment that you grew up in. Unfortunately, some people grew up in an environment where passivity or being, you know, passive femininity is something that was practiced. Their sisters, their aunts, everyone, the way baby panda type of a thing, you know, and education wasn't a thing really. Going to work, finding, you know, being financially stable, being taught to be independent wasn't a thing.
Yes.
Unfortunately, those type of people are people that exist today, right? And it takes, I don't know, it takes a certain encounter in life where they have to either switch from that mentality or they just remain like that. And if you now, so that's the one part, you know, and I get it. That is why I liked what you said, that we don't judge, because at church I speak to a lot of young girls and having to sit there and understand a person's background, how they grew up, what they had to encounter in their lives is really heartbreaking. And you as a person, you know, in corporate, sitting there looking at a girl that someone might say they're passive, they're just relaxing, but you don't know the context. You don't know what this person went through. I mean, and that really doesn't qualify someone to sit down and do nothing. I'm not encouraging that, but I'm just saying that in life generally, as people, we need to be more compassionate and always be in a position to lend a hand. Even if you are just coaching or you are just educating, some people don't even know what is a CAO, this thing to apply.
Yes,
they don't even know what it is, right? Some people don't even have IDs, people, right? And these are female that are beautiful, and the only thing that they know now is like, I need a man so that I can do my hair. I need a man so that I can survive, which is something that some of us don't have context or don't have insights into, right? So that's the one part, which I think, you know, the government and the people that are in positions like me and you needs to lend a hand, whether it's mentoring or just, you know, just helping somebody and being able to give them the information to not be passive and enlarge their capacity, go to school, do this, you know, help, mentor, guide, right? And then there's the other part, right? The other part now, somebody like my daughter who comes to me and says that they want to be soft, you know, they don't want hard things. My daughters will be like, "Yo, mommy, the thing that you're doing looks hard," you know? And unfortunately, that's the world that we live in now. The generation that we are grooming don't like hard things. Unfortunately, even at work, they want quick things. They want AI. I need someone to quickly respond to this email. The people that are adopting AI and all these quick fixes are the younger generation. That's the type of generation that we have to deal with now, unfortunately. And I think, you know, there's got to be proper intentional parenting, mentorship at a young age for these kids to just teach them to be independent. You know, I was taught to be independent. My mom taught me to be independent. Not really taught me, but told me that you can't open your hands for a man to give you money. You need to find ways in which you can establish yourself, you can grow yourself. So that mentality is something that I've grown with. It's something that I practice. Though my husband has a capacity to give me money, I can sit at home, right, and take care of the kids and go drop them. But I wouldn't do that, right? I'm not going to do that because I need to be independent. I need to enlarge my capacities. I need to know that the world is my oyster, you know, and that is what I tell my kids, that there is nothing you cannot do. There is no stage you cannot stand on. There is nothing that God cannot do for you. You know, you've got to work hard, unfortunately. You need to work hand in hand with God. In order for God to help you, you need to show up. You need to be independent. You can't wait for the world. You can't wait for the society. You can't wait for the rich man. In fact, I don't think the rich men exist today, right?
This economy.
In this economy, you've got to survive. So those are the two sort of narratives for me to say. The one is really on them understanding the context and really be compassionate. And the other one is on trying to teach the kids independent at a young age. Be independent. You know, there's something that I was looking at with my husband earlier in the year, that there has been such great focus in society on women, a girl child.
Okay.
And we're looking at the matric results. So the woman, the girl child, they're doing great. They're the ones, the top distinctions. It's woman, which is great, right? But what we also identified is that there is now not a proper balance. The boy child is really neglected. And it's showing, right? It's showing on the matric results. These people are going to university. The boardrooms are dominated now by females, which is great. I'm really proud of us as a society. But, you know, I think there's just got to be a balance in everything, Bongiwe, because these people that we want to be rich, these men, we are neglecting to groom them. So there's got to be a handful that is finishing, I'm sure, right? Because we are not focusing on a boy child anymore.
Yeah. And that's a topic that is gaining momentum.
Yeah.
I've seen a few people, there's a few books actually that I personally have read, and I recommend on my platforms that dive deeper into the issues of why the boy child or the men are being left behind.
Yeah.
Some of the topics there, I was like, I didn't know this, you know. And I always say that the books that I read, unfortunately, were from an American context. But I've seen a few authors that are now writing from a South African and African context of why the boy child is being left behind. And what you're saying to me is, it touches my heart so much, because as you're grooming your girls, there is a concern for the boys.
Absolutely.
You know,
I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that concern for, okay, what about my boy child? Will he have the same opportunities?
Also, what about the boys that they're going to marry?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. And that's a concern even for women, I guess, in their 20s, in their 30s as well. Because when you listen to women our age, they'll tell you, the men these days are just not. I mean, you have an MBA, right? You got a golden key or something, ne? Like you're a top list, yeah. I understand. Now imagine, God forbid, imagine, ne? Your husband was not in the picture and you were still looking for someone to partner with and do this life thing with. Obviously, your standards are going to be very high.
For sure.
What Dean's list, Sisi?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So you look at that, and then you look at the pool of men that are available who have those things. It's a small pool, you know. And now every girl is wanting to go into that pool. And the problems, that's where we experience problems. I usually speak about women being competitive with each other because it's something that weighs very heavily on my heart. I think God has placed that burden on me. And even in the episode that I did previously, there was a topic I asked that question of competing with other women. And I think because the pool is so small, we now compete against each other. We now badmouth each other. We now, you know, instead of helping each other, you'd rather put a sister down. There's a lot of videos on social media where you see a girl, you know, at a party or whatever, you know, at a bathroom in a restaurant, and the other one is taking a video of the one girl whose man was looking at this girl and pointing fingers and fighting and saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we laugh about it. We, you know, on social media, we even write comments, and there's a lot that happens, you know, on those videos.
But that's the content that actually
exactly
sells.
Yeah, it's the content. It's the content that gets a lot of views. It's the content, but it tells us the state of our nation.
Yeah.
Right. That those are the characteristics. Those are the traits that we are aligning with for lack of a better word. And so we watch those and we promote those, we share those or whatnot. Now, with the small pool and women wanting a piece of that pool and all of them jumping into that pool to grab whatever, right? I want us to talk about that sisterhood relationship that we do not have amongst ourselves, that we do not have amongst, I know you come from a big family. When I see pictures with your sisters, I'm like, oh my God, I'm the only child. So when I see that, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so heartwarming. I wish I had sisters, But I do have sisters who are not a blood, exactly, who I know would take a bullet for me, if push came to shove, essentially. And I know for a fact that those people are the people that I can be with, and I would not feel like they are judging me. I would not feel like they want something from me, or they are with me because I have something. Now, the competition or the women out there, it's different. We've seen how friendship groups are, where there's like, oh, Teva, oh, nah, that one is gossiping on this one. And from your perspective, right, how would you advise women to navigate those situations and to basically say to them, whatever, it's unnecessary, guys. Like that is unnecessary. It's unnecessary.
So it's a tricky one, it's a tricky one. And I think where it fundamentally it stems from, I think, looks. And, us as women, we suffer from low self-esteem. And it shows, right? Even in corporate, everywhere, we as women just need to push in just a little extra hard for something that a guy will just show up and talk bullshit, and they'll just take him for that. Where else you're not confident enough, right? So I think the first thing really it's around looks. We get to be jealous. How pretty the other person is, and it's also because of your own insecurities. I think all women are pretty. The problem that we face when Abongiwe is that some of us take care of ourselves, and one can also argue that you take care of yourself because you can afford it, right?
Yes.
The other person is not taking care of themselves because it doesn't matter for them. Unfortunately, competition is there. I see it a lot in corporate. You will get people say, for an example, oh, this, the pretty privilege type of a thing. Oh, because she's taking care of herself, she's pretty, so she thinks, does she even know the work? Type of things that will get in corporate. So you then get other women competing with you just because you woke up a little bit earlier and you went to the gym and your body looks good. You put in some effort in how you look. You get other ladies jealous. And unfortunately, we are not our sisters' keepers.
Yes, yeah.
Outside of the friendship circle, right?
Yes.
I find, of course, you mentioned I grew up in a big family, so I sort of have my home and God has blessed me with that. And God has also blessed me with good friends, right? And I believe that those friends have more than ever, like now as I grow, I'm more intentional about my friendships, people I keep around me, people I can really wake up in the morning and pray for. I want to have those relationships where I'm really my, like Bongiwe's keeper type of a thing. If I call you my friend, I'm really, not that like I'm, oversharing and doing all these things, or like we're calling each other at every single day. No, not even. But it's more about how do I show up for Bongiwe in different seasons of her life, and how do I also get friends to show up for me in different seasons of my life. But people will always compete with you. People will always feel you don't deserve certain things that you have. People will always feel like you're not godly enough. You're not. It's something that is there. in the society. We can't really shy away from. And I would just advise, if I were to advise a person on how to navigate that, is really, for me, knowing that fundamentally your friend is God. As I grow up, Bongiwe, I am realizing that it's you and it's only you. And literally, I'm married, I've got kids, I've got sisters. Everyone is close, but they're not close. The only person that is close in the physical, you don't have a friend. In the physical, you don't have a close person. You have the close person in the spiritual, where you need to build a relationship with that God, with that person, which is God. And I find comfort, I find stillness, I find perspective, I find wisdom, I find how to navigate a day, how to cry, how to in God.
Yes.
Rather than looking around the physical, because I failed trying to rely mostly on people than God.
You speak about a powerful concept, the concept of being your sister's keeper. Yeah. And I think for us as Christians, it's very easy to say because it's part of our nature, right? Being a Christian, you are everyone's keeper. Because if you are a prayer warrior and you are an intercessor, my darling, you will pray for everyone. You will pray for the nation. you will pray for the world.
For sure.
You understand? You will even pray for politics. Lord, please.
Can Donald Trump?
You understand?
Wisdom in Jesus' name.
So you'll be doing so much, trying to keep or maintaining that the world should be kept. Even you would even pray for the plants to flourish, when you are Christian, because that's how we are meant to be. We're meant to care about every living thing and every creature. Now, there's a different narrative, right, when we speak about the people of the world versus Christians. We believe that as Christians. People of the world have a different school of thought, and they are allowed to because they don't subscribe to our principles, right? Now, in the Christian community itself, we tend to take some of the characteristics that we had in the world before being saved, and we bring it into the church environment. Mm-hmm. And what I've seen and what I'm wanting to see a bit more is that concept as well. Being able to say, oh, baby is praying for her son to get a job. Let me call Baby, let us pray together. I've had the privilege of having that circle of friends around me. And when I was extremely sick last year, I didn't even have to call. I would just text and say, please pray for me. I need prayer for divine health because I am struggling right now. And those individuals would be like, we are on it. And today I'm as healthy in Pilisa, Yeah,
that's
so, yeah. So I think we as well need to be aware that we cannot ask of people what they cannot give to us.
Absolutely.
Someone who does not subscribe to your faith will not even understand what is sisterhood, what is not even sisterhood. If I'm being your sister's keeper, what does that mean? Does it mean I need to call you every day? Does it mean I need to tell you my business, or do I just give you my highlights and never my lowlights of what of what I'm struggling with? Things like that, So for me, it's important to also understand that we are dealing with people from who have different and follow different principles, and so us saying, "Oh, here's the rule of thumb. Let's all be our sister's keeper," may not necessarily work. It would be ideal where, you go to a restaurant and a girl says, "Oh my goodness, you're here. Look, I brush just quickly." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, "Oh my goodness, your lips are, your eyebrows are not drawn." I'm good with eyebrows. Let me just quickly, understand. Instead, what would happen is either a picture and then we laugh at you, or
you become a meme.
Or you become a meme. Or you become a meme, But also, I don't think it's an impossible request from us to say,
sure,
ladies, let's be each other's keepers.
No, it is a difficult request. Let me
think
tell
so?
you. And I'll tell you why. You know, if you consider yourself a sister's keeper, you need to do that in a way that is according to, well, sorry, but according to the scripture, you know,
Yeah.
because the scripture says, give and it shall be given back to you. When you are becoming your sister's keeper or like give, you need to take it in that mindset. Well, that's how I take it. That I will give, but I will not be waiting for anything in return. I don't expect anyone to be my keeper, type of a thing.
Yes.
I will do what my soul or where I'm guided by my wisdom, I will do that. I will, you know, educate, I will guide, I will mentor, I will give, I will do whatever that I can do as a Christian and as Ebile. But I would not be expecting anything in return. Because unfortunately, you know, as we grow up as young girls, the way that we view our relationships are always a give and take. You know, you give, you give back, and that is why there's so much disappointment around girls, around friendships. Even, you know, I've been in friendships where I've been hurt. All right, so, but as I grow, I learn to say, okay, I must just do this because it's scriptural. I must do this because I believe that this is something that is good to do.
Yes.
Those people that were praying for you, they did it because they knew that this is the time where we lift our sister up in this season. You know, I don't think now they're expecting that Mongiwe is busy praying for us at this moment. This is returning the favor. We live in a world where, what am I getting in return? Unfortunately,
transactional.
It's absolutely transactional. Even in church, in the Christian community, it's like, I pray for you. What am I getting in return? So I think if we shift that mindset to say, we don't ask people to be our sisters keepers, but you just become one. Yes. You know, and you becoming one, you might touch somebody's life, and someone would say, yo, Mrs. K, they call me like that at church, Mrs. K, you know, said this one thing for me and it changed my life. You know, for me, I've done my work, I've completed it. It makes me feel I've accomplished what I needed to. Yeah. So that is how I view it, because I can't wait for anyone to do anything for me.
Yeah. What I'm hearing you say is, start with you. So I must start with me.
Yeah.
Like, let me be my sister's keeper.
Yes.
And not expect anything in return.
And you'll see the type of people that you will even attract around you are the people that will pray for you, because they will see that Bongiwe is a sister's keeper. Yes. Then I need to really be passionate about making sure that I lift her up with all her struggles, her deepest things that she can't even say to me as a friend, but how do I carry her in prayer with those things, you know? So for me, that's how I view it.
Yeah.
And that is what I tell the young girls to say, you know what, as you grow, just learn to give, learn to extend your heart. Unfortunately, you get hurt, eh?
Yeah.
You get hurt as you do that, because you cannot have expectations, you know?
But you're building your muscle as well. I think we tend to put a bad connotation on hurts, you know, being hurt and being disappointed, or your expectations not being fulfilled as you had hoped, you know. But I've come to understand that actually it's building a muscle. You know, there's a muscle in me that's being built, that next time you get disappointed, you're like, okay, it's fine. Let's be resourceful. Yeah. What else can I do? Or, you know what I mean? The relationship being transactional between women, between men, is something that is all over as well. Where, I mean, we've discussed it so many times in our own friend group, you know, and we discuss it all the time because it's always a burning topic of don't be transactional, you know, especially when it comes to men. We always say, like, men know, they know it. If you are coming in and you're thinking, I'm going to be Mrs. Pretty and I'm going to eat his money, they know, you know. And I think we need to get to a point where women understand the balance. And some women say the transaction. And let me explain
The
why.
problem is we were built like that. That's our feminine side, right? You were groomed to just be submissive, you know.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, but I understand the submissiveness. I understand the biological mapping in us that just wants money.
To submit.
Yeah, we submit and then we extract that cash. You know, I get that. I just think that right now it's gotten to a place where, like for instance, you're mentioning how you are worried that your son may not even get a suitable partner when he's older because of just what's happening, right? And we trust God that it will be different.
No, he will.
Yes.
Good wife.
There's definitely women out there, especially when you have a son, your perspective becomes different. You look at the girls who are like in their 18, 20, 21, 25, even 30s, even post that, who are saying, Mina, I'm not going to be with a man who can't take me on a holiday every quarter, international. If I call him and I say I want 20 bar, I want 20,000 because I'm going on a trip with my friends to Cape Town, he must have the 20,000 right now to give to me and send to me. You know what I mean? If I want a weave that's worth 10,000, he must pay it for me. If I want the latest iPhone, he must buy it for me. Now, a girl like that with that sort of mentality, would you allow them to marry your son?
Sure. That's a difficult one, hey? It's really a difficult one because the reality is that those type of girls exist. And that's the behavior that us as parents also sort of infuse in our kids to say that your husband must be able to take care of you. Instead of us establishing our kids to be independent, we tell them to expect to have these expectations from a man, to do their hair, to do this, to do that, which goes back to what it is that we teach our kids as they grow. Unfortunately, my son will meet anybody in life, can meet one of those people that will expect so much from him, and that it would be his reality of marriage, or that it would be his reality of a relationship, you know. Which is something that, I don't know, I have absolutely no... And it really is a very deep and touching sort of conversation because I'm grateful where I am. I'm grateful. I think God really blessed me with a good husband. I really think God blessed me with even me, like my mom. Like I feel like she did such a good job raising me. And I want to pay that forward. And because I didn't get married or I didn't go to find a partner because I wanted this, I wanted that, I wanted that. Yes. So I'm grateful.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going to be with my kids.
Yes, yeah.
And it's my prayer every day. But I mean, it is God who has plans for these kids.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing about you, baby, is that you didn't marry for the lifestyle.
No.
At all. Because you got married way young.
Yeah.
But right now you're living the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right, to a certain extent. I mean, you can have an international trip with the kids, you know, you get to do your nails, you get, you know, and you said that if you were to say, okay, I just want to be a stay-at-home.
The problem is I didn't know this life though, Bongu. Like I didn't know this. And the thing is, because I was back in the Bundus in KZN,
yes.
I was not exposed to these things that our kids are exposed to today, which while I need to teach my kids and raise them the way that my mom raised me, but I need to innovate because this is 2026, right?
Yes.
It's not the same way, and they're not growing up in an environment where I grew up. You know, when I show them my matric dance photos, they laugh at me. When I show them photos of me, like they laugh at me, like, "Mom, are you okay?"
Yes,
you know, like, do we need to take you like to therapy so that you can get over some of it? Because this is, darling, are you safe? Like, are you okay? You know?
Sure. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Sure. And navigating that also will be it will require you to build capacity as a parent as well in order to be able to, groom them in a way that that when she's 21, I know she's safe. I know she has a good head on her shoulders and she'll make the right decision.
Yeah. And, my mom didn't really teach me this is how you handle yourself as a girl, whatever. I mean, that's how it is back there. It's not like our kids now are being taught things as they grow. This is how you become feminine. This is how you treat yourself as a girl. They're being taught things that I was never taught. And because I was never taught those things, I just looked at my mom and I sort of modeled what she was or she is to me. And one of the things that I'll always be grateful for that my mom gave me, and if all fails, I want to give to my kids, is Christ, right? Yes. At varsity, you would go out partying, do things, do whatever that you want to do, drink, whatever. But you would know that there's something that, I need to go to church.
Yes.
I need to go and repent. I need to go and do this. You would know. So for me, if all fails, because of the society and everything, I just want to give my kids that. And I think every parent or every young girl that is growing up, mistakes are there, context, as we said, how you grow up. But I think if, you sort of have that grounding after it all, when you are sitting in Paris, sipping on cocktails, whatever, but you know that this is who I am. This is what was planted in me as I was growing up. For me, that's it.
Yeah. That's like the pinnacle. Yeah. Maybe thinking about everything that we've spoken about, I think the top things that I've taken from the conversation for me is you are God's daughter, a beautiful one at that.
Thank you.
I've taken that there's a concept about being your sister's keeper, which I'm taking for myself because I think that's very important. And I would like to be teaching other women about that, And the last thing is you are not taught on how to be a woman. There's plenty of them out there that are not taught. And I remember I was talking to a colleague recently and I said to her, the reason why I speak to young girls about their menstrual cycle is because their parents have outsourced that particular... Exactly. And young girls are walking around. They know the chart. They can see the chart because the chart is in their textbooks, right? It's okay. Estrogen falls, they know the chart. But they are walking around hating the one thing out of many, because there's a few, that makes you, or that helps you become, be defined as a woman, right? Because as soon as you get into your menstrual cycle, then you are a woman now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're walking around and they hate this thing. Like when you listen to them, they're like, I don't like this thing. And for me, it was a calling. I was like, okay, after you have a chat with me, you will love it.
Wow, that's beautiful. I need to send my daughter.
And
thank you for that. Where do I book?
Yeah.
Where do I book?
I'll send you the link.
Please do.
And I've had so many chats where I do one session and they call me again. They're like, you need to do more because the girls are really interested and they want more, right? And I tell you, baby, when I explain it to them to say, by the way, when I got my period, I didn't even know it was a period. I went to my grandmother and I was like, something is coming out of me. I'm not sure what it is, and she was like, let me see. And I showed her. She's like, oh, okay, quickly, sanitary pads, it cleans me up and shows me, okay, so now this is how you look after yourself. You must make sure you don't, they gave me the rules, do not throw it away wherever, or, things like that. You must wrap it up nicely. And then, all of those things. And the last thing she said to me is, don't sleep with a boy. Because if you sleep with a boy, you'll get pregnant.
Same.
Left me. How? That was it. And now that I sit with young girls, I'm bringing back that I wish my grandmother had told me this. And that's what I'm telling them, there's plenty, there's plenty of, and that's why I created this platform as well. I thought about what are women not being told? What are they not being, what are the things that they are missing that are key to their womanhood, where they are walking around with, identity gaps. You're wanting to be this woman, you are here, and there's this gap that is so long, and you don't know how to approach that gap. You either then listen to the wrong content that tells you, just be transactional when it comes to you. Then you listen to content that overly focuses on going to school and getting your degrees and being a doctor, and then you feel all alone at 40 and you're not married. Absolutely. And you don't have kids. Or it's content that says, I give up everything. Just be umamumfundisi at church and be a prayer warrior. Maybe and kids and a husband are not for you. So there's like so many extremes. There's like so many extremes, It's like one extreme. The pendulum is not balanced. It's either on the other one. Yeah. By the way, I've been that girl, right? Where, because I was struggling so much in relationships, and I think you probably know the story. Because I was struggling so much in relationships, I was like, maybe me not give it a nan. I literally thought yes, guys, it's funny now, but I was like, maybe I must be a nun, guys, because it can't be, man. It can't be this. Like, this is life. So when I have a platform like this, it's for me to encourage people and bring them that hope, that glimmer of hope, to say, the woman you see yourself as and where you are now, there's steps to get there. Yeah. It's possible. You just need the right content. You need to, surround yourself with the right people. And one thing that you need and absolutely need to do is saturate yourself in God. Yeah. And He will lead.
It will preserve you. Exactly. It will help you.
Yes, it will help you. I recently found out things that I was not supposed to find out, about certain... I don't know if you call them celebrities. I don't think they're celebrities, but they're very popular people, on the social medias and Instagram. And that time, back then, when I was like in my 25, 26, somewhere there, I was like, I want to enter this thing. And I was praying to God to enter this thing. Then recently I met someone who knew how this thing was working. And I was like, thank God you didn't enter this thing. And they started telling me. And I was like, what? This is what used to happen. They're like, yep, this is what used to happen. I'm like, oh my goodness. Sometimes you think God's no is because He doesn't love you, or He doesn't hear you, or He doesn't see you. Maybe at this moment, you are, yes, you can want a rich man and you can get a rich man. But the journey to there is a long one. Because as you said, you first need to know yourself, and you need to do everything for yourself. Then ultimately, they will be attracted to that. Yeah. Then you won't have to perform. You won't have to go to Inyanga or wherever to go get imiti where you put in the food. And all these things that we hear, you will not have to perform. Yeah. You will just be yourself, and they will love you as is. And I think with that being said, you are doing a great work, friend. Like, you are doing amazing. You inspire me a lot. I look at you and I'm like, I am inspired. And I think that the work that God has for you in mentoring, in guiding young people is going to bear so much fruit, because, as you said, you're doing it from a position of being selfless. Yeah. And there's nothing better. In closing, I usually do this with my episodes, right? Everyone that comes here.
Okay.
So I share with them the one thing that I learned from them about womanhood. Because I observe, like I look and I'm like, okay, okay. So there's something that you expressed to me a long time ago. And I think that's the one thing that made us click. Okay. I don't know, but it made us click. It's Ronaldo, ne? Ronaldo, who says, when I find the click, then I'll marry her. And people are like, what's the click? Like, what's the
Yeah, what is a click?
what is this click? I remember we were talking about, it was a big debate.
Because we have so
yeah,
many.
we have a lot of debates. It was a big debate. But the one thing that I took from you on that day, you were expressing how not every man is like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, I love that glimmer of hope. I love that opposing belief and the strength to say it out loud when the world is saying men's are trash.
Yeah.
And you're like, I still know and believe that there's men out there who are good. And that glimmer of hope that you expressed helped me so much in my journey. And everything that I did, because I was like single for a long time, you know, right? Like for a long time. I kept on telling myself that no, they exist. They are there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They are there. And so for me, that's the one feminine thing that I took from you, because femininity brings somewhat the positive influence into any circumstance and situation, because we are relational, right? We are communal. So we always want something that brings people together rather than divides them. And so I thought about that and I was like, actually, that's her. And that's why you're a guest here today. But anyways.
Am I allowed to share the one thing that I've taken out from you?
Yes, sure.
I mean, it wasn't even in conversations, the many conversations that we've had. But I think for me, you are a sister's keeper. I like that about you. Though, you know, oftentimes when I make friendships, I sometimes find myself out of place because I'll be the only married one in the group, and it's all about boys and men this, and I will find myself out of place, and sometimes I don't engage in those conversations, or then I will add that glimmer of hope. But I think for you, I like that I can't tell that you grew up alone, actually. As in, like, you're the only child. I would think you grew up like me, like the way that you build the relationships with other girls, the way that you put yourself. I like that about you. You're such this flower that is full of strength and with so much in them. The one day it's this card, the other day it's this card. So you embrace so much strength, and I liked that about you.
Sure.
So
that's such a win for me, friend.
No, it is. You're doing a great work.
Sure.
And I really pray that you continue. This is an altar that you have built, and God will honor it.
Thank you.
God will honor it.
Sure. Yeah. You know, when you say that, it means God has really changed my. But you see how God has changed your heart. Selfish. I was so selfish. Growing up, even a friend of mine, I remember in high school.
Really?
I was so selfish. I thank God for that friend because she had sisters. So now I would eat an orange by myself. That time there's people around me. And she'd say to me, "You don't share much, do you?" I was like, I don't know, you know. And then what she started doing, my friend Nomusa, what she started doing was, every time she ate something, she'd be like, an orange, here, take half. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'd eat. So then I started learning that characteristic. Okay, I have a banana. I must offer the banana. So it grew with me. So when you're saying that, it makes me so teary because it means that it's now embedded in me. Yeah.
It is. It definitely is. And
wow.
God will honor that.
No, it's
keep doing it. Yeah.
It's a win.
I couldn't tell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. We do have to close off. I don't know if you have any last words that you'd like to share with the viewers as a closing for Debbie.
Okay, I wasn't ready for that. You should have
sorry.
prepared me.
It was like so. It's intense. It's like very saturated right now. But
No, I think for me, looking at your platform, Bongiwe, and I would like to encourage that woman, I wouldn't even say young girls, but that woman out there who is really just trying to get through whatever, right? You could be at school, you could not be working, right? You could be trying to get to IT, like I'm in IT for an example, and you don't know where to go. The one thing I'll say is, speak up, go to a local church, reach out to people like Bongiwe, go wherever, just try and expand, enlarge your capacity as a woman, and be encouraged. I don't have things figured out myself,
Yes.
but I just like to encourage, because it really hurts and burdens me when I see a girl that I used to be, with no direction, looking at things just for the now, and not looking the impact that whatever that you're doing now will have on your life, on your future, on your husband if you get married, or whatever the case may be. So I just want to encourage to say, you know what, be still, and God has your back, and you can do it, man. I know even me, I've got things that I'm trusting God for, I'm praying for, that I still want to go through and break through from. And I believe that God has heard me, and it shall come to pass. Yeah.
Sure. That's powerful. And it's a good way of closing something. I think it's very much a you and God relationship and intimacy with him. I always speak about intimacy. And as you are saying, capacitate yourself.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Build that capacity. In the quiet times, build that capacity. In the times where it feels like nothing is happening, build the capacity. In the times where things feel like they're moving slowly or slower than you had anticipated, build capacity. One day it will pay off. Yeah. Well, that is it from us. Thank you so much for watching Pretty Serious Conversations. As always, I close off with the social handles. So Klebi will share his social handles with us, and we'll put them at the end of the video. And then also, we do have a book club. So if you want to join the book club, please email knowbetterdobetter01@gmail.com. Every month, we read one book that is femininity related, and then we host one monthly event to discuss the learnings from that book. I curate the books because I've read 100 of books, and there's a few that I think are worth reading. And I think every woman should have these on their shelves, not only for them, but for future generations as well. It's that legacy that you're going to leave behind for your young girls and your great-grandkids as well. So yeah, that is it from me. I'm your host, Bongiwe Dlamini, also known as Grace Girly. See you on TikTok and on Instagram and on YouTube. Subscribe, follow, like, everything. It keeps the lights on. And yeah, that is it. Ciao, ciao.